find what they're doing that makes them in a better spot than you and do that. So compare to win, don't compare to lose. Welcome to the Impactful Engineer Project. I'm Steve Maxey, and with my co-host and brother Jake, we are here to bring you guidance, fresh ideas, and the tools to help you become an impactful engineer.
Welcome to the Impactful Engineer. Our mission is to help you grow your engineering career and inspire you to pursue your full potential, not only as an engineering professional, but as a member of your greater community. I'm Jake Maxey. I am a professional engineer for Hallam ICS, a company that provides multiple engineering services, including mechanical, electrical, and process design for the built environment. My brother Steve is a mechanical engineer of some sort. He leads an engineering team in new product development for Klein Tools, a large professional hand tool manufacturer. What's going on? Oh, really?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Nothing much, man. Just had an interesting week at work and have a really intense schedule for next week. You know, I got a lot of in-person interviews going on, have some big business sided interview or meetings at the company. Lots going on. So
You gonna prepare over the weekend?
Maybe just a little bit if I feel like it, but most of the time I like to prepare early in the morning on the day of, you know, so it's fresh in the head and, you know, the creative juices are going. I actually do my best work early in the morning.
A little bit of cramming too.
Yeah. I love working under pressure. It's so much better.
Yeah. Maybe, you know, if my week was going to be that compressed, I would have like a half an hour on getting rid of meetings, telling people no.
Yes. Already did
scheduling the blocks for me.
Yep.
Yeah. That's what I would be doing.
Yeah. I used to do that the week before at the, right before I in the day on Friday, I'll go through next week's schedule and be like, well, I don't have time for that. Nope. Decline.
Yep. Push it. Yeah.
Because I got to open up the schedule for the things that need to get done for that week. Right. Cause a lot of those meetings are just oh, we're checking in for the week from this one project. And they're like, well, this engineer's got it, so he can take care of that.
They can handle the checkup.
So, and then if there's one I'm a little unsure about, I'll reach out to the team, like, hey, do you guys need me next week on this one? And most of the time they're like, not really. So, okay, see you.
Yeah.
So yeah. How about you, man? How you doing?
Doing great. Busy week as well. I think I reached a little over 50 hours, which is not normal for me.
Dang.
But, you know, things needed to get done. Priorities that I will not let slip. That's the non-negotiable things. So Every once in a while, you got to just push through. But it was a good week. Lots of travel too, driving. Try to find things to do while driving that are worthwhile, impactful.
Yeah.
You know, listening to podcasts or ruminating on a certain thing that I want to dive deeper on, recording my thoughts in my notes app, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm not a robot. I mean, every once in a while I listen to some music and just hang out.
I was about to say, you know,
but I do like to just
headbang a little bit, you know.
Yeah. Just, you know, put on a good, you know, Slipknot track and create a station out of it and just see where that goes. You know, that's fun too. So, So, hey, this podcast has a few episode types.
It does,
Steve.
Yeah, it has a few episode types. Most of the time it's you and me, right? We're talking about a topic. We introduce the why and the how around that topic. And, you know, we get that conversation going to really hopefully help our listeners have impact in their daily careers.
Less often, I would say. We always say we want to do more often. But we'll have those episodes that are, just us.
Yeah.
So we get on the horn. We talk very quickly and directly about something that we want to share, hopefully to get your creative and critical thinking juices flowing, and see if you can use that for yourself in your career as well. And then the last episode, type.
Yeah, we just had one.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a pretty interesting one. So I encourage everyone to go back and listen to that. It's a lot of high value impact there. But it's when we're bring on guests. We dive in guests now, right? We've done multiples at the same time, but we dive into topics of what they do and how they're making impact in the world and how you can take what they're doing and implement it in your own lives. So those are very high value and add a lot of extra perspective beyond just you and me. So I really love those.
All right. Well, today, what are we going to talk about today? I didn't want to talk about anything today, but
yeah, you didn't.
Steve, when we were chatting, you brought up something that actually got me fired up. And you can explain kind of the high level what you're thinking behind it, but when you're talking about it, I just had flashbacks of earlier on in my life, and still a little bit today, but for the most part, I've got it dialed in. But using these, like, first of all, comparing myself to other people and then thinking, damn it, like
Absolutely.
there's something they did or some you know
The success fairy
that
sprinkled their dust on them.
yeah, like they got something special that I don't,
Hmm.
that allowed them to get where they are, that didn't allow me to get where I am, even though it all comes back down to the actions that you take every single day and all the shit that you clear out of your mind that doesn't contribute to those results that you want. That you stop doing those things and that you start doing the things that do contribute to the results you want. It's as basic as that.
Hmm.
But we all have this human condition where we have thoughts and feelings, and all of that shit gets in the way.
It does.
Right? So, yeah. So that was my flashback moment. It's like, man, I used to think a lot and waste a lot of time, not only comparing, but just thinking that, well, you know what? I'm me and I can only do so much, and I'm not them, and what they have helps them achieve more than what I ever could. And it's like, that's just such complete bullshit
It is.
when you think about it. Uh,
Yeah,
so,
and the other thing is people always go back to the whole time horizon thing, right? They're, oh, I'm 40 years old. It's too late. I can't do anything. That person started when they were 12 and they're masters of what they do. So I'm pretty much just stuck where I am. And that's complete horseshit too. One of the
mhm.
best examples is Colonel Sanders at KFC. He was like, what, 65 or some shit like that when he started KFC?
Yeah, I've heard that
You
one.
know,
Yeah,
I mean, that's like the extreme, but still, he had
it's
another
possible.
40 years of being awesome, and then look at where it is now. So whatever age you are, it's a self-belief limitation to thinking that you're too old to start something.
Yeah, or insert excuse here.
Exactly.
I'm too this. I'm
Yeah.
too that.
Yeah.
I
So
don't have.
yeah. Exactly. But to kind of go back a little bit on the context of what we're talking about, everyone has their own unique adversities that they have to overcome. And a good example of that is rich people versus poor people, right? Everyone thinks, oh, rich people, they have everything, all the opportunities, blah blah blah. But there's things that they have to overcome themselves that people who are less fortunate don't have to worry about as much, right? Yeah, they have the financial means that are available, but there's also like real high expectations. There's a lot of pressure for them to not be less successful than their predecessors, right? They have to do better and build more than the people before them, and that creates a lot of pressure.
If they define it that way.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
And
Which I could only assume that the majority
yes,
probably do at some
yeah,
point. Yeah.
and the other thing is, when you are born into a rich lifestyle or a lavish lifestyle, whatever you call it, you're in a high level of comfort, right? And the comfort is the killer of ambition. And if you want to be a motivated person to be highly successful, etc., if all you're doing is laundering the money and partying and whatever, you're never going to build that ambition. Where people who come from less than ideal backgrounds, right, they have a natural propensity to have more ambition and are driven to be successful because they want to build something that their predecessors didn't have. So I think there's different adversities that everyone across the board has, and so you can't compare where other people are to where you are and say, oh, well, they had the success fairy, or they had a bunch of money, and that's why they are them and I'm me and I can never get to that. And that's complete bullshit, as we talked about, because everyone is capable of taking action and being ultimately successful by the choices that they make. I mean, just think about all the big success stories that you hear, right? The Bill Gates, the Mark Zuckerbergs, et cetera, et cetera. They all came from, oh, I built it out of my garage. No, I blah 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 blah. All these things. They had adversities and they built these empires, right? And so th- that's what you have to think about. And it's that type of success is available to you. You have to just take the actions to get there.
Yeah, could you imagine that someone started in their garage and then they thought, well, I can never get where this person was, the equivalent of that time when they're looking back at somebody that's way ahead of them. I'm pretty sure they looked at the people ahead of them and said, what are they doing? Or what did they do when they were in my place to get where they're going, and I'm going to do those things.
Yes.
Screw the rest. Like they were so focused. I bet you. I mean, I don't study highly successful. I don't study Bill Gates. I don't study Jeff Bezos. I don't study these people that are in the limelight right now that everybody knows and you can drop their name and everybody gets it. I don't study those people, but I can guarantee you that they probably in a documentary are going to tell you that they spent less time focusing on what they didn't have and more time on what they could do,
Yes.
and then just executing relentlessly over and over and over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has to be the case, or else they wouldn't have gotten where they got.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can truncate that down to just your own organization as an engineer, right? You can be an engineer and you could see someone who's maybe the VP of engineering or like the lead technical expert in your firm and see what that possibility is, and you can learn from those people how they get there and take those action steps to get promoted and get to that level that you are aspiring to. You know, even if you're in a position where, oh, I'm 40 years old and this person over here is 30 and they're the president of the company, you could still become a president of the company. You don't have to have that prerequisite of age or experience levels. You have to just put in the work and make the right decisions, take the right actions, and then you will get there. And the best way to understand that is to build relationships with people who have done it and learn how they got there.
That's right. It's just basically building the skills, right? I mean, none of this is rocket science.
No, not at all.
Build the skills and do the things, be the person that position requires, and you'll get there. It's just all the stuff along the way that kind of you can convince yourself that it's not worth it, or that you can't, or that it's the brain and that gets in the way. It's like it's the human condition, right? Thoughts and feelings and all this stuff that will never go away. It's always going to enter into your mind, but it's just kind of like what you do with it, right? So
Yeah.
I always have thoughts that come in that I go, yep, cool, later. That doesn't. I'll literally step outside myself and say that doesn't mean anything. We just got to keep going. There's someone out there that can help me get past this. There's things I can do consistently every day. So yeah, I get it. But like tying it back to the adversities that you're talking about, that I thought it was a decent explanation in the beginning. It's like you could pick those apart, but everyone has their own hard. It's
Yeah.
like, and you hit on the finances thing. It's like we didn't have a bunch of money. We were lower middle class or whatever, poor at some points in our
Yeah.
life. It's like, and then, but that makes you think that having money will solve all the problems that you have and make you just become happy. And it's like, no, having money will change the problems that you face every day.
Exactly.
So, yes, when your car breaks down and you have no money to get it fixed, having money equals getting the car fixed and somebody else did it and now you're driving again. Or you just bought a new one if you have enough money, right? So that wouldn't be a problem for you like it was for us. We needed to go pull out the factory service manual. We needed to go buy wrenches. We needed to turn them. We needed to learn how things go back together so we can drive our cars again, right? We became very good friends with the local junkyard, the pick and pull.
Yep.
So those were our problems at the time, not problems for people that had a bunch of money. Now you could argue that the skills we built off of having no money as the problem solver and we had to solve it in another way actually benefited us to some degree.
Yeah.
So I would encourage you to look at the problems that you have that you need to solve as building skills and accomplishing things day in and day out.
Yeah.
With the problems that you have in front of you. Become very excellent at solving the problems in the way that you can that are presented to you.
Yeah. And you
Because
can,
that's
yeah,
it.
and you can leverage your strengths to make you more marketable, right? If you're an engineer and you come from a less than ideal background, but you built all these skills, being able to solve problems by alternative means, you can use that to your advantage. When you're in an interview process, you can go, oh, I had to dissect this engine and rebuild it and do it all myself, and so I understand how the valve train works. I know how the drivetrain works, and braking systems, and blah blah blah, and just kind of go through the whole thing. And then in that interview process, they're like, yeah, this guy really understands how mechanical systems work, right? Where if someone who is really wealthy and they went through engineering school but they never turned a wrench in their lives, maybe their expertise, and I'm saying maybe because maybe they are really good with mechanical systems, but in their situation, maybe because they purchased their way through everything, they only know the theoretical thing. They don't have the hands-on expertise that you may. So you have to use the cards in your deck to your advantage, no matter what your situation
That's right.
is.
And the cards in this theoretical person's deck that you're talking about are going to be way different.
Yep.
They wouldn't be talking about, if they didn't have to rebuild the motor and do all that stuff, they would be talking about something else.
Yeah.
And they would be leveraging the cards that they were dealt,
Exactly.
right? Playing the hand that they've been given and that they're stacking along the way in their life.
Yep.
Right.
And
So
knowing that you're going to have a couple aces in your deck, no matter who you are.
that's right.
Every single person has those 4 aces that are going to make a huge impact in whatever they're doing. And they will be different aces. You might have 4 spades and someone else has 4 diamonds, but it doesn't matter. You have your 4 aces in your deck that is going to define the highest impact value that you're going to bring to the table.
Yeah, and the key is just figuring out what those are at that time in your life, and not allowing so to wrap this kind of to your core point about comparison,
Mm-hmm.
and that realizing that everybody has their own adversities to overcome no matter what. They're just different, right? So don't allow comparison to get in the way of you finding out what your aces are and using those aces.
Yes.
Like, screw everybody else's aces. Who cares what that point they are in their life? Don't allow it to shape how you show up and learn what aces you have in your deck, right? So I think that's the main point that you were trying to get to, is just like,
Yeah.
don't allow the comparison to get in your way.
Yep. And the only time you should ever compare is to understand what is possible.
And that's a good next point to make, is that comparison is not a bad thing. I would argue that not many things are good or bad. It's what you do with them that's good or bad.
That's the intent behind it.
So comparing yourself to another person could lead to bad things because you took it that way and led down that path. So yeah, comparing to see where someone's at, like that VP, right? That's younger than you, but just what are they doing? What are the results? Don't get hung up on anything other than what do they do that makes them suitable for that position. And if, like, as an example, like, that's probably cliche, but it's like, oh, they're the son of the CEO of the company, so of course they made it to VP. Okay, just take a step back. How does that help you?
Yeah. Who gives a
Are
shit?
you the son of the CEO?
Yeah.
Like, if you were, I'd look into that and be like, what
Yep.
did my brother do to get in this position? You're not. Like, so just don't use things that are irrelevant and that don't serve you.
Yeah.
So do the comparison thing and see what do they do to get where they're going, and maybe I should start doing some of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because as our parents used to tell us, life's not fair, right? So in the reality that you're in, you just need to figure out how you can be the most successful possible, and to hell with other people's situations.
Yeah, we used I don't know, I used to say this all the time. Life sucks and then you die.
Yeah. Well,
Which can
we
be
can change
taken
that.
as a very morbid thing, but like,
Yeah.
to me, and I never took it that way. I never took it in the depressing,
Mhm.
like, I might as well just give up on everything way
Yeah.
that the words portray. What I took it as was like, I only have so many fucks to give, and so I'm going to reserve those for the things that really matter. That's how I
Absolutely.
took it.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that that's what I was thinking until I read that book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I think it's like Mark Manson or something. I probably got the author wrong, but yeah. I was like, that's what I've been doing my whole life. People think that, man, Jake just doesn't care, but it's like, I don't care to the point that I'm not going to allow stewing to keep me from getting where I'm going. Like,
Yeah.
who gives a shit? Life sucks, then you die. All right, let's move on. That just meant we're putting this to bed, and we're not going to ruminate. We're not going to go back. We're not going to relive it anymore. We're not going to tell the story anymore.
Yep.
We're just going to, life sucks and then you die. Let's go find the next thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was
Because
doing.
resentment is worthless, right?
Yeah.
There's no point in having resentment, because we all die at some point. So let's just make the maximum effort and most success we possibly can in our own lives. So
yeah, exactly.
Life sucks, then you die.
Life sucks, then you die. All right, you got anything else on this comparison?
Nope.
I guess what it came down to is we're really talking about comparison. So I don't know if people do that. I'm
think
sure
they
do.
I think people do, but you just need to change the framework and compare to win. That's it. Just find what they're doing that makes them in a better spot than you and do that. So compare to win, don't compare to lose.